They trained me to read danger and body language, but you're the first person who made my instincts turn inward, like I'm the one exposed. I've spent years recognizing predators by their silence, yet when you walked in, it was my breath that went missing. I'm paid to watch others flinch, but you watched me instead. And somehow, I was the one who froze. I know every tell, every mask, every lie, yet you didn't hide anything, and that terrified me more. They say awareness is power, but with you, awareness felt like surrender. I've chased shadows my entire career, but you stood in the light and still made me uneasy. I'm trained not to feel, yet you didn't chase me. You simply existed, and my defenses collapsed. I've always been the hunter of intentions until your presence flipped the roles without effort. I know how fear smells, sounds, mood. But what you stirred wasn't fear, it was vulnerability. I've watched monsters reveal themselves slowly, but you revealed nothing. And that's what shook me. My job taught me to control the room, yet when you entered, the room felt like it belonged to you. I've read hundreds of dangerous minds, but yours didn't feel dangerous. It felt inevitable. I was trained to spot pursuit, not to feel chosen. Every instinct screamed awareness, yet my heart whispered curiosity. I've stared down threats without blinking, but you made me look away. They warned me about predators, never about someone who hunts without moving. I know how control works, and somehow you never tried. Yet I felt it anyway. I've cataloged danger my whole life, but you felt like a question I didn't want answered. I thought power came from seeing everything until you saw me. I'm supposed to sense intent, but your calm unsettled every rule I trusted. I've been trained to dominate fear, not to become the center of someone else's focus. You didn't stalk the room, you waited, and that patience unraveled me. I've never doubted my instincts, except the moment they pointed toward you. I've watched people pretend to be harmless, but you were dangerous in your honesty. I know the look of hunger, yet yours felt like understanding. I've followed patterns my entire life, and you broke every single one. I'm paid to notice threats, but you felt like a mirror. I've been the one people fear noticing them, yet you noticed me without effort. I've disarmed worse men than you, but you never raised a weapon, only awareness. I know how it feels to be hunted for survival, but with you, it felt emotional. I've always controlled the narrative until you became the story. They trained me to read rooms, not to feel seen inside them. I know what danger looks like in the eyes, but yours reflected me back. I've faced violence without shaking, but presence like yours rewired me. I've learned to trust logic, yet you bypassed it entirely. I was never afraid of being watched until it felt intentional. I've cataloged predators by movement, not by stillness. I've always been one step ahead, except when I met you. I've survived real threats, but you threatened my composure. I know when someone is calculating harm, but you were calculating truth. I've taught others how to stay alert, but you made me aware of myself. I've broken down monsters, yet you quietly disarmed me. I've always stood between danger and others until I stood between you and myself. I thought fear was loud, but you proved it can be silent. I've been paid to notice eyes that linger. Yours didn't linger, they anchored. I've seen manipulation in its purest form, but you never tried to move me. I know how dominance works, and you never claimed it, yet it existed. I've chased intent across rooms, but you waited for mine. I've been hunted by real danger, but this felt intentional, personal, quiet. I've always known where exits are, yet around you, I forgot to look. I'm trained to remain untouchable, but you touched nothing and still reached me. I've seen people reveal themselves under pressure. You revealed me without any. I know what control looks like, and yours came from restraint. I've been taught to neutralize threats, but you weren't a threat. You were exposure. I've always believed awareness equals safety, until awareness made me vulnerable. I've faced eyes filled with violence, but yours held certainty, and that shook me. I've always been the observer until I became the subject.